Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Ismail Hakim Ibn Jaluddin. My contact number is CE200083. Today I will present my part is introduction. Linear regression is a statistical that applies to a data set to define and quantify the relation between the considered variable. To estimate the relationship between two variables which are dependent variable and independent variable is by using linear regression. The scatter plot is used to measure the strength of the association between two variables, and correlation is used to show the relationship between two variables. So the purpose of the report is to estimate the relationship between two variables, which are amount of electricity used and time taken for battery to discharge specific and voltage. Voltage is the amount of electrical potential in battery hole. Time taken for battery to discharge is last voltage that can out from battery. In battery, voltage values in amount that device we put in, so there is a trade-off between voltage delivered by the battery and time taken for battery to discharge. That's performance.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Nazran bin Muhammad Asrun, CE 200178, and today I'm going to present about the data for our assignment. The dataset of our assignment consists of brand of batteries, the amount of volts used, and the time taken for batteries to discharge specified voltage. The dataset purpose is to identify the lifetime of the batteries and summarize how long the battery would last. Figure 1 shows the brands of batteries for the experiment. Figure 1a we are shown the data that we acquired from the based on the data we acquired on the lab sheet. The source of our data are acquired from the Journal of Statistics Education website. The database were the basis claim made in an advertisement, and this claim is reassessed using the data to show that the company undersold the performance of their batteries from a statistical point of view. Independent and dependent variables. Independent variables are variables that do not change when a condition or another variables of interest occurs, while dependent variables are the variables that depend on other measured values. These variables are expected to change as a result of experimental manipulation of the independent variable. Based on the data gathered, independent variable of this data are the amount of the voltage used, and the independent variable of this data are time taken for the batteries to discharge specified end voltages.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. Today I will present about the software. So in our group assignment, we will use Microsoft Excel because the software is to urge all the result from our data. Excel may be a spreadsheet program from Microsoft and a component of its Office product group for business application. Microsoft Excel enables users to format, organize, and calculate data in a spreadsheet. So by organizing the data using software like Excel, data analyst and other user can make information easier to look at as data is added or changed. Excel contains an outsized number of boxes called cells. They are ordered in rows and columns. Data is placed in this set in these cells. We choose to use Microsoft Excel because it's lots of benefits. First of all, this software is the best to store data because this software has been utilized by several people and that we can share the info that has been stored with our group members and that they can access it easily additionally and in Excel. There's also an entire list of functions that may be used for calculation within the result like the function to get the norm for the store data. So for the data, statistic may be a valuable skill that may facilitate our making better judgment. Microsoft Excel is one of the foremost used data in analyze programs, with the built-in pivot tables being the foremost popular analytic tool. Microsoft Excel allows you to look at you interpret data in a form of ways. The data could come from several different places. A range of format and conversions are available for the information. Next, in Excel, all the chart type we want to use is to present our data are already there, and we can enter them with one click. We will also create new cell charts to create our data easily understandable for anyone. As an example, to urge a scatter diagram and curve for the info. It's very easy and practical, especially for a student to create assignment online.
For result and discussion, the question asks us to state the mean, standard deviation, minimum, and maximum value for the independent and dependent variables. First, we must fill in the data that we get to the Excel spreadsheet. After that, we can find the value of mean data by using the average function equals average number 1 and number 2 was use the mean value of mean of both data. For standard deviation were determined by the function of equal st_dev. Number 1 and number 2 of the data depends on the dependent or independent variables in the Excel software. After that, the minimum value and maximum value can be found by using the function equals min and max to find the minimum and maximum value calculated for both of the data. After that, the question asks us to sketch a scatter diagram and regression line from the data. To sketch a scatter diagram in Excel, we must first select all the data that we are given, and then we must click the square button below that and choose charts, more charts, and find scattered XY scatter on the insert chart. After we plot the graph, we can just add in the regression line by clicking the chart elements and adding the grid lines and trend lines to the data. From the diagram above, it shows that the time taken for batteries to discharge specified and voltages was inversely proportional to the value of voltages. Next, for question C, assuming the linear relationship, use the least square method to find the simple linear regression model. Least square method is the combination of intercept b0 and slope b1. b1 is calculated by using SSX and b0 by the number of sum y over n minus b1 bracket sum of x over n. By using sum function, the value of x, y, and x square and y square can be generated. Based on the table we got above, the value of x is 4.545.3, sum y 192.44, sum xy equals 206.298. The value sum x square 51.93 and value of sum y square is 1145.19. By using all the values of xxx and xxy can be calculated, the linear regression model can be acquired by arranging the equation and get y equals negative 18.546x plus 25.814. This is the formula we're using to calculate the value of SXY, SXX, and SYY. From the equation, we can get the value of SXY, negative 11.6423, SSX equals 0.62775 and SYY equals 219.36116. From that, we can put it into the B1 and B0 equation and get the answer the same as the result that we're given by the Microsoft Excel.
So this is for the question. Check the significance A equal to 0.05 of the simple linear model in C. So this is the result that we get. For the data analysis is used to generate the regression in order to find the significance of data. From the table above, the significance of this simple linear regression of the p-value, which is 9.96 times to 10 minus 248, is intercept. And 7.37 times 10 minus 32. Therefore, the base of values and a equal to 0.05, there is a linear relationship between the torque and rotational speed because both p values are less than 0.05. So for the interpretation of the slope, we get 18.546 nm, and interpretation for the intercept, we get 25.814 nm. And then alright, for the compute of the coefficient of Pearson correlation and interpret the meaning, so we get SXY 11.6423, SSX 0.6275, and SYY 219.3612. So these two SSX time SYY, we got 137.703933. So the R is negative 0.9921. So this is what you get for the result. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Conclusion. In conclusion, based on the result of this project, we have achieved the purpose of objective of this project, which is to estimate the relationship between the voltage and time taken for battery to discharge. Voltage is an independent value because it influences the value of the time taken for battery to discharge. As a result, based on the value, this value, there is a linear relationship between voltage and time taken for battery to discharge because both p value are less than 0.05. Based on the calculation to find percent correlation, we can conclude that the correlation is a negatively strong linear relationship between voltage and time taken for battery to discharge. That's all from me. Thank you.